I always wanted to do that. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I've always wanted to do that. Start a video like that. I just don't go that fast. It's all right. So this video today is gonna be, that's the drum rolls, by the way. You thought I forgot, huh? No, I didn't forget. So it is the 5 self-development books that changed my life. So you're asking yourself, or maybe you're not, maybe you just don't care, why is this girl just has one earring on? Let me tell you. See this vein right here pulsing? That's me getting a little upset. So, just trying to show off some earrings because, you know, they're cute. I got them on Instagram. See? Aren't they cute? And they're all the moon faces. However, this whole close, how can I, look at it, how can a whole close? I'm like, not young. It closed, that bad boy closed up, and you know what? I'm not going back. I'm not gonna go back and get, pierced ears. Well, it's not like I remember these, right? In the Dominican Republic, it was, they do this thing when we're very young. I don't even remember it, but according to my grandma, it was my uncles that pierced my ears when I was a baby. I wouldn't even call it a rite of passage because I didn't even know what I was going through. So I don't even know what passage I was writing myself to. Is that even a word? I don't know. But, yeah, it happened when I was little, but fuck that. I'm not doing it again. I'm glad it happened when I was little because I don't remember it. And I don't remember the pain. But I'm not trying to inflict that pain on myself right now as an adult. So I guess I'm going to be rocking the one ear earring thing. Maybe I'll bring it into fashion. I don't know. You know, what do you guys think? Yeah? No? Maybe so? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get back to the list anyways. So I have, I'm going to try to edit this out and then see how it works where like I have the book as I'm talking. Look, I'm doing it like as if this is TikTok. This is not TikTok. This is going to go into YouTube. So I'm going to try to figure it out because I'm not that technologically savvy yet. See that? That's my self-development talk coming out. That works. Okay, so a little background. I got into audiobooks. I'm heavy on audiobooks now, but I got into audiobooks because of self-help books, right? And back then it was like self-help was not the cool thing to listen to. And people used to say like, "Why you need help? Oh, like it was something bad that you needed help, so you was listening to a book so that way it can get you some help." And so it wasn't something that was out there, and it wasn't something that I necessarily talked about publicly. Certainly never thought about making a video about it, you know. However, I did talk to my close friends, and I remember one of my battle buddies, I told him about a book that I was reading around that time. And that was so long ago. That wasn't during my first deployment, I want to say. So I was reading The 4 Agreements. Yeah, listening to it, I should say. The 4 Agreements. And I do have the book. And that tells you a lot because I listened to this book, but then I also got the book because I wanted to have it on hand so that way I can reference it. And this is a short book. Most of my self-development books are very short, right? But they pack a punch. They pack lessons that really stayed with me. And help me out to go through life in that moment, okay? So a little bit about me. I used to take things, I still do, but not as bad, okay? I'm no saint, and I don't think I will ever be completely healed from my traumas. I think I'll just be a work in progress as I go through life, and I'll get better, and I'll have good days, and I'll have bad days. But I don't think it'll be a point where it's like I'm like 100% perfectly zen, nothing bothers me, and so forth. No. So this was the very first self-help book that I listened to, that I read, and it has stayed with me. And something that I take away from this book is just that, not to take things personally. And you don't understand, like, the weight that came off of my shoulders when I realized that what people say, even when it is about me, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It has everything to do with them, where they are in life, their feelings, their own traumas, and all of that. They see it and they attack it in you, but that's because that is an unhealed wound in them. And that right there was like, you don't understand, like, how much that weight of feeling like the world is against me and everyone is against me and everybody's just trying to attack me because of how I look. Hence, look at this, right? And because let's face it, how I look is not what I can control, right? And it's not something that I can change. It's not something that I can fix. It's unfixable. It's just me. Is who I am. Is how the Creator, Allah, God, Jesus, the Goddess, the universe made me, and this is it. This is it. Like Michael Jackson. This is how it's gonna be for me. So not only did I have to come to terms with that, but I also had to come to terms that what people said about me, how they attacked me, made fun of me, or belittled me, had nothing to do with me. And that helped me out so much, because you think about it, I was trying to fix the unfixable. I was trying to change the unchangeable, and just imagine how frustrating that can be for someone. So, and I don't know what it was. I don't know why it took for me to listen and read this book, for me to finally get it. But when I read it, I got it. And that has stayed with me for the rest of my life. Now, do I still get upset when people come at me all sorts of sideways and wrong? Yes, I do. But I still remember this. I still remember that. And I may not remember it at the moment, right? I may have a bad reaction. It's gonna come out, because I don't stay quiet for people. I just don't. But if I don't remember it then, as I'm going through it, I'll remember it later. And actually it helps me to feel a little bit of empathy for the other person, because now I see them for who they are, just a hurt and broken soul, just like me, going around the world trying to make the best choices that they can. And sometimes they can't. They can't make those good choices, just like me, just like you, just like everybody else watching this video. So that's what I took out of this book, as well as to be impeccable with my word. Those two things. It's 4 agreements, but those 2 agreements of being impeccable with my word, and what they say is not about you, it's about them. Those were things that were bringing me down, and I needed to grow, and I needed to understand those 2 agreements, so that way I can get better at adulting, at lifing, right? Because I needed to know that. I needed to say what I mean and mean what I say, because sometimes I was avoiding certain things, or I was saying yes to things I really didn't want to say yes to, just so that way I can please the other person. And once again, that's a weight on my shoulders. So I was putting burdens on me that I didn't have to, but I did because it's just I wanted to please other people. And just thinking about it now, I'm like, why? It's like I was torturing myself. I was like, why was I doing all of that? God, I was so young. Why? And now I know to mean what I say what I mean, right? So if I don't want to do something, now that doesn't mean I'm going to be rude about it and going to be completely nasty about it. No, but I do respectfully say, no, I have other plans, or no, I just don't want to, and once again, how that other person react, it really has nothing to do with me. So now I know that if my answer rubs somebody the wrong way, even though I try to be as polite and as gentle as possible, it still is not, it's not a reflection of me. So all of that bubbled up, and it's neatly wrapped, and it's like the gift that I gave myself when I listened to this book and I read it, and I've kept it. So see right there where the wings are at, that's my self-development pile. If you zoom in, you're going to see different ones as well. But these are my top 5 that have stayed with me just because they have changed me wholeheartedly. The next one, book number 2. It is The Power of Now. This book took me a while to get into, and I'll explain. Let me explain. The audiobook is a little... The voice is like, wah, wah, wah. I'm like, oh no, what do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands as I'm listening to this. But it's a great lesson, okay? And it says it right there, The Power of Now. It's a great lesson. I mean, so after reading this and listening to it, and mind you, it took me 3 tries to fully digest this book, okay? It took me 3 tries because the information is in here, it's dense. So I needed to give myself 3 tries in order to understand it. So... but the soul messages, and you get it right there from The Power of Now, right? It's just to stay in the present. But not just that, the author explains why it's so important to be in the present. And then when they describe how we, as people, as souls roaming this earth, most of the time are not in the now, and how we can note that, it made me internalize that information and made me look at myself and take accountability of that. And what was I doing? Why was I reaching towards a future I have not reached, and going back into a place that I have already surpassed? And when the author explained that, and he explained what goes through your mind when you're either in the past or in the future, and how frustrating and traumatizing that is, especially when you just want to hold on to the past and kind of like re-traumatize yourself for no reason. It's like, it just, once again, just opened up my mind. Because I was like, once again, it's just like what I said with the 4 agreements of saying yes to things that I really wanted to say no. It was the same thing with here. Why am I living in the past? Why am I going to sleep with the thought of something that already happened, and me thinking how I could have make it better, or conversations I already had, how I could turn that around, or think, so I'm like, I'm rehashing things in my brain and going to sleep with this shit in my head that is so heavy off of things that I have no control over because they already passed. And this is something that the author makes note of. We cannot control the past because the past already happened. We cannot control the future because we're not there yet, But what can we control? What can we control? The present. That's me. That's me making fun of me. The present. Duh. You know, duh. The present. God, even talking about it, I'm like, oh, why didn't I get it before? Why didn't I get it before? It's okay. Live and learn. Green and growing, right? Live and learn, and then we get loves. But yeah, that's all it was. And you don't understand how freeing that is to just fight your own brain, to just stay in the present, you know, reclaim that, ground yourself, whatever it is that you need to do, right? I learned something from Bloom. It's an app that I have where we do cognitive therapy through videos, right, that have already been pre-recorded. And one of the things in there is a grounding activity. And that grounding activity is like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let me know if you have Bloom and I'm getting this wrong. It is 5 things you see. So you name 5 things you see. 4 things you can taste, 3 things you can hear, or something like that. Or no, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can hear, and like 1 thing you can taste, or something like that. So you're using all your senses. I know I have it wrong. I know. Okay. But you're using all your senses in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 methodology, so that way you can ground yourself into the present. And that, you know, in addition to having read this book, that just kind of like, boom, you know, it puts things together. Because at the end of the day, we want to be here because this is what we can control. This is the present, is what we can affect. And by doing that, this is what's going to relieve some of the pressure that we have, not by staying in the past and not by going into the future, because that creates more anxiety for people. Go figure. The other books, I did a little note for myself. So let's read it, guys. So the next book is Get Good with Money by Tiffany the Budgenista, Aleech. I think it's Aleech, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. You're a wonderful author, and so much knowledge, so much knowledge. I even got into her newsletter and everything, so that way I can learn some more. So I have this thing where I want to shop. I have this thing where I go to Target, look, Target Fashion. And I don't come out of there unless I'm like $200 in, and it's not good, right? It's not good. I'm not proud of myself. This is not something that I'm boasting. It's not good because, one, it's not in my budget. You know, it's not even in my budget. I haven't allotted for that. You know, not saying it's nothing wrong with spending $200 at Target if you budget it. Because once again, it goes to that control, right? You have money coming in. You got to control it going out, so that way the money can grow for you. That's what the Budgenista says. Make that money work for you. She says something. So my husband and I, we listened to this, right? On the way I was going to Fort Hood on the TDY, and I popped this in, and I love it. My husband is not a reader, right? But I love it when we get to share that activity that I love so much, that I find so joyful, and that is just something that is near and dear to my heart, which is reading. And I get to share with him, you know, the love of my life. So that's really, it's a special moment. So I don't know, maybe that's why I digested the information so much more better, because we were doing it together. But he got a lot of things out of it. Well, most of the time he was looking side at me and being like, see, I told you some of that, because he has told me a lot of the things that the Budgenista has said. But me, cabeza dura, right? I have to listen from somebody else in order to to follow through. Because, you know, when you listen to it from somebody that you love and care about and that you're very close to, you're like, yeah. You know, but then you hear from an expert and you're like, okay, well, shit, sorry. You were right. I was wrong. I'm going to follow through now. Okay, bye. So yeah, so it's like, once she said that, watch. She was like, you make this money work for you. I felt like that's how she did it, right? When she was taping this audiobook, right? You make your money work for you. And she makes all the sense, because we work hard to make this money. How come we are just letting the money use us as opposed to us controlling the money and making the money work for us? We don't work for the money. The money work for us. See? I know it hit you. I know it hit you because it hit me. I was like, you know, and then when you get that mindset in, that's you're gonna budget. You're gonna be like, look, you know, I'm paying off the credit card like this, you know, and she does the snowball method or another method. I totally forgot the name of it, but I'll put it on the notes. Something that I already knew, because I have read, if you zoom in there, I have read other books about personal finances. I've read like 2 or 3 other ones that came out very early on, but this one just stuck with me, and it was very life-changing, and it still is, because I'm still going through it. I'm still going through her website and finding things that can benefit me, because once again, I'm gonna fucking make this money work for me, because most of the time, like she says, you make more than enough. But if we don't budget ourselves, then it feels like we don't, right? So at one point I did what she told us in the book, and that is to make a noodle budget. So that way you know what is the bare minimum that you need. Your noodle budget is kind of like she equated to when you are in college or when you're really hard pressed with money and then you live off of ramen noodles, right? So she was like, make your noodle budget. So that way you know exactly what is it that you need, you know, no more, no less. This is my noodle budget. And I did that. And it was, once again, it was just like mind-blowing, because it teaches me that I don't really need that much, right? And because I don't really need that much, that extra money I can use so it can work for me, so it can grow, right? So that way I don't have to work that hard later on, and I can enjoy my life a little bit more by not being like just in labor for the rest of my life. Not in labor as in pregnant, but working for the rest of my life, okay? So once again, life-changing for me, life-changing. The next one that I'm going to talk about, so now we are in 4, right? 4 out of 5. And that is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I'm going to put this neck and neck with another one that I forgot. I think it's The Power of Habit or something like that. I hope I'm not getting confused with The Power of Now. But there was another book before this one that I read, and I'll put it on the notes because I'm spacing it out right now. But it has to do with habits, with building habits, because the author talks about how you cannot necessarily break a habit, because a habit is kind of like an ingrained autopilot that we have, right? So instead of breaking it, you have to add another to it, and by using the same cues and, you know, and things like that, kind of like, it made me feel like I was in an experiment, like a rat in an experiment, right? Where it says like, oh, you hear the bell, so now you know you got to go look at your food bowl and get that cheese. So it's kind of like that. Now, atomic habits. What do atomic habits talk about? We can get, it kind of like goes one step further, or I wouldn't say one step further, right? But it takes from what the other book that I read about habits said, validates it, verify it, but also says, hey, let's break it down. Let's just make small incremental steps towards a bigger goal, right? And that right there, once again, look, watch, right? Once again, it made complete sense, because I noticed, I always tell people I'm a recovering procrastinator. As a matter of fact, I'm making this video because I'm procrastinating from writing. I'm supposed to be rewriting. I'm supposed to be rewriting, but, you know, here I am making this video. I was like, oh, it's a good idea. You know, I'll take a little break and do this video so I can post it and have content, you know, and then I'll get back to my writing. Hold me to it. Hold me to it, okay? Still on Act 1 of rewriting, by the way. But that's another, we'll make another video about that one the next time I need to procrastinate, okay? Right now, let's talk about Atomic Habit. So yeah, so Atomic Habit by James Clear is just that, right? It says, yes, you can modify a habit, right? And it validates that one. And now it's saying, okay, let's just each day get 10% better, you know, as opposed to thinking of the whole of changing. Just do 10%, you know. And I equated it to like a marathon, right? When you're trying to, God, I've never done a marathon. I've only done a half a marathon, and I did it twice in my whole life, okay? God bless those people that do it. Here, I'm going to bless you right here. Okay, so God bless you. God is bless you, you know, but I don't think so. I don't think so. But I equate it to that, right? For me, it would be getting ready for the half marathon, the second one, not the first one, because the first one I just went nilly-willy, but then I was younger back then. I can do stupid mistakes like that, and my body would recover. But yeah, not so much. So on the second one, I actually did do a few 5Ks here and there to get me prepped. Did a lot of yoga, a lot of stretching to get my body ready, right? So it's kind of like that, right? That's what he means. Like every day, do something towards that goal. Every day, get 10% better, okay? So let's say today I went out and I walked 1 mile, right? Then I do that for a few days, right? And then I progress. Now, instead of walking a mile, now I'm walking half a mile and running the other half a mile. Boom. I just accomplished one, you know, and then incrementally I up it until boom, I do a whole 5K, right? 2.5 miles. So that's why, excuse me, I just burped. So unladylike. But that's what he's talking about here, you know, and it's just that, just getting 10% better each day, so that way you don't feel overwhelmed. Because I don't know about you guys, right, but I get super overwhelmed when I see like the magnitude of the task that I need to accomplish. And it's like, for example, writing a book, right? But what did I do? I broke it down into phases, because me just looking in there, like finish writing Mrs. Franchi's Evil Ring, right? And the 6 months that changed everything, that's just overwhelming, because I know that that's like a 45,000 word book that I'm writing. And I know that currently I'm at 30,000 with rewrites, right? And I know that I still have 15,000 more to go, right? I did math. I hate doing math in public. I'm sorry. Don't judge me. I'm a writer, not a mathematician. So yeah, so it's like I did small phases, so that way it doesn't overwhelm me, and that way I can get, that book can get 10% better each day. So right now I'm worrying about Act 1. That's it. Accomplishing the rewrites, right? So my first task was for me to write out a plan, right, of what I'm accepting as developmental edits that I will incorporate, right? So I wrote the plan. Then I re-outlined yesterday. And now, you know, that outline has bullets. And now I'm on the 4th bullet today, you know, and maybe I'll get to 6, you know, today. So that way I can boom, boom, boom. I finished those bullets, right? I rewrote those things in the manuscript. And little by little, you know, I'm creating a writing habit that in turn is going to help me finish this book. There. That's my take on Atomic Habit. I don't know. You tell me yours later. So the last book, we are on number 5. So last but not least is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. So I'm pretty sure you guys know her. And then she, after, I want to say this was her very first book. And now she has, I want to say like 2 more books, which I haven't read yet. But this one right here just blew my mind. And this is another audiobook. By the way, this is another audiobook. So this one, I listened to it in the car with my son and my husband. It was a family trip. We was moving from Wisconsin to Texas, and we read it. We listened to it in the car, and it was amazing. I mean, once again, not only do I love reading, but I love to share with people that I love and care about. And so this was a great experience, me and my family listening to the 5-second rule, right? And it's kind of like my way to kind of like get my son to improve himself too. You know, he's 19 now, but it's kind of like, I'm just going to listen to this in the car. And he had his cell phone on. He's still in the house because he hasn't gone to school yet. So there were points, you know, because I'm looking, you know, and there was some points where he takes the headphones off and kind of like, you know, and I can tell that he's listening. And yeah, and I was very happy. I was very proud of him. I want him to get better. You know, I think that's like a parent's dream, right? That you want your babies to be like the best that they can be, you know, as they grow up and they don't make the same mistakes as you. So yeah, I mean, I love it that he was in the car and that he was listening to us, listening to the self-development 5-second rule. And all in all, what it is that to get you out of not making a decision, right? And you go ahead and count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. And then just do it. That's the 5-second rule. And the thing is, I don't know why I'm still whispering, but the thing is that it's so simple, yet it's so earth-shattering, and it's so magnificent. The you know, the simplicity of the plan, but how much it can change you, because it takes you away from inaction. A lot of the times we don't want to make decisions, right? It's very uncomfortable to make these decisions, and or we're trying to avoid it. I know sometimes the avoidance side of me comes out when I'm trying not to make a decision, right? So I try to either take my time with it, procrastinate, or things like that. And with the 5-second rule, I give myself the countdown, and then I gotta jump afterwards. You know, that's it. No inaction, just get it done, make that decision, do it. She wrote a whole book about it. God bless her. Godly, that's talent, right? That you break down such a simple process and you write a whole book about it. Mel Robbins, gonna be you one day. Yeah, the Latina version. So yeah, I mean, that is, can you believe it? I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gushing because this is just, I like what she did. I like what she did there. I think that's great. And it really helped me. And yeah, so I wish you all self-development progress. And just to recap before I let you guys go, the 5 books that we discussed today, and they are the 5 books, the 5 self-development books that really just changed my life. Number 1, The 4 Agreements. Number 2, The Power of Now. Number 3, Get Good with Money. Number 4, Atomic Habits. And last but certainly not least, number 5, The 5-second rule. I wish y'all a great day. I wish y'all a lot of progress. Be kind and rewind. Bye. Hey, want to see some more of this content? Like and subscribe.